And we're back to it again. Led Zeppelin, continuing the complete exploration of Led Zeppelin's albums, music, and listening to today, exploring in detail communication breakdown. I do hope that our communication doesn't break down in the middle of this video. Let's see how we get started. The song's original title was Too Good, and it had been performed during the band's 1968 Scandinavian tour. It developed from a guitar riff played by Jimmy Page, while the rest of the band wrote the song around it. Well, it seems that Led Zeppelin have some pretty catchy, sturdy guitar riffs. Let's see how this one is. But obviously it's something that the band thought, oh, that's cool, let's build something around it. Bassist John Paul Jones later said, "This is Page's riff. You can tell instantly." Well then, maybe one of the things I should be keeping my ears open for is to try to develop a sense for what is Page's riff style and see if I can learn to tell instantly as well. The Dictators bassist Andy Chernoff, the Dictators meaning a band, the Dictators bassist Andy Chernoff states that Page's guitar riff of rapid downstrokes in Communication Breakdown was an inspiration for the Ramones guitarist Johnny Ramone's downstroke guitar style. I just recently listened to the Ramones for the first time, so that's another thing that I should start trying to connect when I go back to them. Oh yes, I remember this one. Yes, this guitar riff. I heard it the first time. Right, so this guitar riff, it's funny how Led Zeppelin managed to really come up with some great rhythmic tongue twisters, mind twisters, the way that they play with rhythms, and it's not just the drums, it's even this guitar riff. It has this pulsing energy to it, da 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 da. But then it pulses so fast and so much, you almost start to lose count. How many? And they exploit that, or I should say, Jimmy Page exploits that little bit of can't keep up counting by fooling us with where the downbeat is in the next bar. Because don't we all instinctively tend towards feeling the first chord, bam, 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 as the downbeat, da 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 da, bam, bam, bam. But that's not true, is it? And you can see it clearly on the score here, that the last iteration of this fast eighth note is truly the downbeat. But because this is so accented, and not only that, it's the longest chord in the entire little riff motif. Its value is 3 of the fast notes, whereas these 2 other long chords are only worth 2 of the fast notes. So it feels even like we're leaning on that and giving it some extra emphasis, when in reality, it happens on a very weak part of the bar, after the downbeat. And so all of this kind of throws us off and makes us think that, oh, we can't quite. I mean, what if you try to sing this or hum this or strum this? If you're a guitarist, you've practiced. I'm sure you can practice it to the point of being able to do it just fine. But da 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 bum bum. I can do it because I'm reading the music or because I have memorized it. But it has that little offset, off balance, unpredictable quality. I guess unpredictable is the word I'm going to use more than off balance, because it is incredibly balanced in a lot of ways. But there's this unpredictableness about it. Like, where are we in this? When do we arrive to the downbeat? It seems to come late. And then we realize, actually, we missed it. It's already passed. And to come up with a riff that is so distinctive, so energized, so catchy, and at the same time has this added layer of unpredictability within 2 bars. Make it unpredictable and still make it memorable. How do you do that? Jimmy Page did it. You hear it's and then Page's classic, shall I say, pouring everything into his voice. Hey, girls, stop what you're doing! But we're so wrapped up by this unpredictable and at the same time magnetic riff. Have I used the word magnetic with Led Zeppelin before? Didn't I say something about magneticism? I'm not sure I did. But this is coming to me. Maybe I just thought it in one of the last pieces and didn't say it out loud. But I feel like magnetic is a great word to use in connection with their music the more I spend time with it. Because it has this element of you just can't walk away from it. You just can't ignore it. You can't push it in the background. In fact, this is the sort of piece that I would hate to have playing in the background. I really would. I would say, shut that off. It's annoying. It's too much. It wants to invade my consciousness, and I don't want to be distracted by it, so I've got to shut it off. It has that sort of irrepressible, persistent quality to it. And even Page's sorry, not Page's voice, Plant's voice has this magnetic quality. When he calls out hey, or babe, or girl, whatever it is, doesn't matter what the word is, but his voice comes pouring out, and you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it any more than you can ignore somebody screaming for help or yelling at you across the field to pay attention. You just can't ignore it. After this pulsing. Great choice of drums. I feel like I'm complimenting the drums a lot in this album. I feel like he has a very good sense of where to do what, to emphasize, to draw attention, to enhance. He took a break from the drums. He didn't play a thing, and it kind of gave our ears a moment to clear out from all the noise. And then he comes in on what? Bom, bom, bom. Right there to enhance and drive that home again. Here comes the guitar again. And I like the way he syncopates his rhythm in the drums as well. I like the way it starts. You know, unlike Dazed and Confused, which had this harmonic complexity to the riff, this has, hardly any harmonic element. It's just rhythmic. pulsing, da 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 da, and then da ba ba. But in Dazed and Confused, we had in that verse part the harmonic complexity, the color, and then it was in the chorus where things got a bit more static, where we sat on a harmonic point for a while. Now here it seems to be a little bit reversed, where we have this riff which is mostly harmonically static. Da 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 ba ba. There's a little chord change there, but it's more, the chord change is not for the sake of the harmonic element. It is for the sake of pointing out the rhythmic detail that's happening at that point. I would say that the chord change itself is irrelevant. It could be any chord there, and still be just as compelling. Ba 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 ba. But then we get to the chorus, and suddenly the chorus, the rhythm changes, shifts a bit, and it gets a little bit more harmonically active. So it's the flip side, it's the reverse of what we had in Dazed and Confused. My point being, as much as Led Zeppelin is clearly based on the blues rock style, everything from the vocal style to the, you notice that I'm not doing a whole lot of harmonic analysis in the course of this, like I found myself doing more with the Beatles, even with the early Beatles, because it's less about the harmony. That's not, while there is some harmony built in, that's not the focus of the music. That's not what makes the music really outstanding. The harmony is quite ordinary, and other than, say, when I point out a chromatic element, which adds a lot, but still I'm not focusing on exactly which chord or what chord progression, because this music is a different style. It's not made to be focused on the chord progressions. It's about the rhythm. It's about other elements. The motivic material has a different kind of makeup. And so here, it is important to notice that the chords it's becoming more harmonically active, but at the same time, it's not like we should say, oh, cool, that's a chord going here. Oh, wow, what a great choice there. It's not that at all. It's standard blues style and rock style chord progressions and harmonic structure, but it's more about how they work with it to build something compelling. And that's what's happening here in the chorus. This time the chorus is the harmonically active part, and the rhythm changes. It becomes less insistent, although it is still plenty active. One of the things to notice as we're listening to this chorus is how the bass, instead of sitting da 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 bum bum, the 1-5-1, instead we're running up and down the scale. We're going up da 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 da, and then we go up again da 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 ba 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 bum, and then a little bit there, and then again ba 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 bum. And that is where da 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 da. Point your ears towards the bass and see if you can pick that out, because it is one of the things that gives this a sort of vibrant quality here. And now we're into the guitar solo. But could you hear the bass there and how it's kind of buried under all the other stuff happening? It's not as in your face as the drums or as the voice, but it's down there And it's this active line, up and down and up and down and up and down. It's kind of like pedaling your bike up and down the hills. Pedal up, pedal down. Oh, here comes another one. Pedal up, down we go. Pedal up, down we go. And this up and down feel makes us both feel active and at the same time a little bit out of breath, doesn't it? I'm going to commit the unthinkable crime and stop in the middle of the guitar solo. Been a while since I did that. Don't you think that this guitar solo has a sort of bluegrass fiddle style feel to it? I'm thinking of something like, I don't know, Boil Them Cabbage Down or something like that. One of those old fiddle tunes that just, you're sawing away, you've got all the active fingers, and it's still a guitar solo, but somehow maybe it's the tone of the guitar. Maybe it's how he's chosen to make the guitar sound with that thin, wiry, nasally quality that makes me think of fiddle music. But it's kind of a way of lightening up this whole piece because this has been so intense. And now, even though we've got all this fast busyness happening, as if we're playing a bit of Paganini on the violin, it's not so intense on such a deep level. It's more like fingers dancing. Up and down, up and down. I could see a violinist playing this. But it's coming from underneath. Oh, but this is where he's going with it. They are adding this wild business here to everything else that's been going on. The riff comes back in, all the instruments, the voice, everything. That is intense. On its own, okay, it's some fiddle music or Paganini style, fast-fingered, showy stuff, but not terribly compelling emotionally until you stack it with everything else. Oh my goodness. Now we have some real tension and intensity in the piece because of all that's going on. And here's his voice there, just screaming it out. Interesting. I guess it was with Your Time Is Going to Come. I was talking about the gospel chorus effect now, and how it's so gospely. Now here, as I'm listening to what they're doing as we're wrapping up as they are wrapping up this piece, coming to the end, this part of the riff, the da bum bum, it almost takes on a sort of vocal chorus feel, like you could imagine a gospel choir singing da 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 ba ba ba. They're singing something there. And it's enhanced by the fact that they are layering this communication breakdown phrase as well. So these instruments on the riff are kind of taking the role of a gospel chorus where you'd have some singing communication breakdown and others singing something on these chords. In fact, they're kind of using that riff in their communication breakdown. It's kind of working with the riff itself in that way. Communication breakdown. Yeah, they are. Listen to that. Communication breakdown. That's right. Communication breakdown. And then I want to love you. I feel like the intensity, the nervous energy of this, it kind of reflects the lines like having a nervous breakdown and drive me insane. I want to tell you that I love you so, but I'm never going to let you go. Communication breakdown. Having a nervous breakdown is driving me insane. That line is like what the music was expressing. This nervousness, the intensity, the craziness, the kind of banging my head against the wall so hard and so fast that I just can't get through. Bom, 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 da 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 bom, bom. And then of course that nervous, crazed guitar solo, which then comes in and all of it layers, and by the time we're at the end we realize, oh, they've been setting us up for another gospel style, blues gospel style piece of music. We could take what came in the last, say, 20, 30 seconds of the piece and take that, morph it a little bit, and it would become another choral gospel piece if we wanted to. And what they've done in that regard on this piece is kind of give us an artistic piece in the process of being made. It's as if we are watching it being built from start to finish. And somehow we are enjoying that process of building as the final product. It's an interesting way of setting up a piece, but it works, and it works really well. But I love this element of we don't really realize what's happening until we get to the end and hear everything, all the parts and pieces put together, and realize where we've ended up. And then we look back and say, oh, that's what. I thought I was listening to a piece being performed. I was actually listening to a piece in the creative process. Well, what did it say? The band built the piece around this riff, and it feels a bit like we got to witness them building this piece around this riff. We hear the riff at the beginning. They start coming in. A bit of this, a bit of that. Your turn to do something. Your turn to contribute something. Your turn. Okay, we hear it all layering together. And then at the final portion, we suddenly realize, that's pretty great what they did. A lot of fun. That was Communication Breakdown. I don't think that their communication broke down in the process of this, or they wouldn't have been able to get to the end like that. But yet again, another good example of how the creators have to find a way to channel this stuff and create this stuff through what they feel and with the vision they have, and yet not be overpowered by it in that creative process. A lot of fun, and well, let's see what comes next. I'll see you soon.